Hi there, it's Paul from Wolf Software Systems, and I'm going to talk about a product we've just released, a bit of open source software called WolfScale. So we've been running MariaDB Galera clusters for about 4 years, I suppose. This one's got a 5-node cluster on it, running on a Proxmox. We've got a couple of 3-node clusters here. We've got a few more clusters that I'm not showing you here. We've had situations where, like, the 5-node cluster decided to have a split brain, so half the nodes were Galera cluster, half the nodes were writing in one group, and the other half were writing in the other group, and it all created a big mess. And also, we run a game called Wolf Territories Grid, which is like a sort of a really interesting kind of thing that you can go and have a look at. And so for some time, I've been a bit like I wanted to make the whole database latency thing faster. I wanted to deal with some of the issues that having a database where the cluster is actually built into the database. And so I came up with WolfScale, and I thought I'd talk a bit about it. So I'm just going to show this. So this is a bit of an infographic which is available on the GitHub. So WolfScale works in a different way to a Galera cluster. If you want to have a multi-master system, use Galera. Okay. If you want a much simpler system, you can use WolfScale. And the beautiful thing about WolfScale is that you can do it with 2 nodes. Well, you can do it with 1 node, really, but there's no point because obviously, well, you just run a straight database. So what you do is you install MariaDB database on each node. Okay. You don't do anything else. You just set that up, get it running. Okay. Then you create some users, and then you run a script on each. And I'll show you this in a minute. So basically, you have. So let's say they've got a 3-node cluster or a 4-node cluster. You don't have to have odd numbers of nodes either. You can have any number of nodes as long as it's more than 1. And the more you have, obviously, the more reliable it is. So you have your leader nodes and follower nodes. And basically what happens is all the writes go through the leader node, okay, whichever one that is, and are written out to the follower nodes, but all the reads go through any node, but as long as it's up to date. One of the issues we have with our bigger Galera cluster is sometimes it fails. It doesn't get the write in quick enough, and then someone reads from that node that doesn't have the writes up to date and doesn't get the data that they were expecting. Whereas this doesn't do that, because basically what happens if it hasn't written the record to one of the follower nodes and the user tries to read from it, it knows that and it'll go back to the leader node to get the data where we know that that's up to date. So we use a write ahead log, and there's lots of other clever things that we do. If a node goes down, if it's a follower and then it comes back up again, it will just catch up. If it's a leader node that goes down, what happens is that the next follower node in the series will come back up. There's no quorum. It just basically works on really simple principle. If this is Wolf Node 1 and this is Wolf Node 2 and this is Wolf Node 3 and this is Wolf Node 4, if Wolf Node 1 goes down, then Wolf Node 2 becomes the leader. So it just works its way around. Another thing that we don't have a problem with is that with a Galera cluster, your slowest node is the speed of your cluster, basically. So if you've got a bit of a slow node, the rest of the cluster will be that speed. Whereas this, we don't really mind, and that's why it means that we could have 3 nodes working locally and in a little cluster, and I'll show you one in a second. And then you could have another node that's sitting in a completely different country, and it's fine that other node doesn't keep up quite as quick as the others. It's not a problem. And what you do is, we've got a product called Wolf Proxy, which is a load balancing tool, and that's actually got the facility to use WolfScale, and you just don't use that extra node to ever read from or write to. So you only ever write to those 3, and it would never become a master anyway. So that's enough of that. Let's look at a practical example. So this is a Proxmox cluster, just a 3-node one, and I've got Wolf Test 1, Wolf Test 2, and Wolf Test 3. And if I go, so to install it, all you do is go to our GitHub. Let's see, Wolf. So you can go to our website at wolf.uk.com. Go to our GitHub. So you have to do is go to WolfScale here, and it'll take you to the WolfScale page, and then there's a little wolf there. If you just click on that, and that's that infographic if you want to look at it. And it takes you to our GitHub, and all you have to do is go down, and it's a bit of a description. And to install, all you do is run this script. So obviously it only runs on Linux. It won't run on Windows, obviously.
So on your server, you just paste the script, and it'll be slightly different to this, and it'll run. And if you've not got things installed, it'll install everything it needs. It'll ask you some questions. So if you're going to set up a 3-node cluster, set up all your IP addresses, get it all set up, get all the users set up, and then it'll set up as a service. Ta-da. And there's a thing called wolfctl list servers. For instance, shows you what the current status of the cluster is. So you see we've got a leader and 2 followers. Conveniently at 112, 113, 114. So if I go system stop wolf scale, I'll stop it. So actually the database is still up, but and then I'll go to here, and then I'll go wolf on this node, wolfctl list servers, and you'll see that what's happened is that now wolftest2 has become the leader. Wolftest1 is now the leader. Wolftest2 is now the leader. It hasn't updated yet. It will update in a second, and Wolftest2 will become the leader, and then Wolftest1 obviously will catch up. So I'll go and start Wolftest1 again. Start wolfscale, and it gets itself sorted out. And then if I can go list servers, and then it all goes back to normal again. And then what happens is the last one will catch up with anything else. So let's go and try a bit of replication. We keep all our databases outside the public domain, so they're not on the public internet. Show tables. So if I go here, in fact, show databases. I don't think there's anything in here. Okay, I'm going to create database easy paddle. There's method in my madness. We're going to restore a backup, and that's the name of the database for the backup. So if I go to wolftest2, scroll through till I get to there, show databases, and you'll see that it's replicated it across. And if I go to the last one, wolftest3, I don't think I've been logging into this one. See if I'm just scrolling up with my cursor keys. If you use Linux, you spend your life doing this. Okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just copy this from here. So it's created it. Exit. Okay. I'm going to go. So yeah, the config's in this wolfscale.toml once you've installed it. So I'm just going to grab this and run it on the 3rd node, which is another worker. There is actually full instructions on anything on the GitHub. It's quite a big documentation thing, so I might have missed some things out. Okay, so you can see there it is. So it's created it on all 3 nodes. Now if I go back to here, now let's just do a quick restore of a backup. Okay, SQL, there it is. So I'm just going to add a couple of things. So we pull it to the right database. Okay, now it's restoring the backup now, but you can't see it on there. So let's go to wolf node 2. Let's go to wolfctl stats, and this shows you exactly what's coming in. You can see just how fast it's pulled in 10,000 records so far, and it's giving us an up. So it's writing about 8 or 9 records a second. That's including all the database creations. List servers. Again, you can also do things like wolfctl. I need to fix this actually. I mean, I'm gonna talk about where we're at with the whole system, but they are actually all active. I don't know why this is doing that. Wolfctl status gives me my current node. Stats. Let's go back to the stats. So yeah, you can see it's scrolling through and it's actually the writes are going up as time goes on. Let's see how that other follower is doing.
yeah, this one's doing about 10 records a second. And it's just replicating it through as fast as it can. Obviously, we are hammering the database now, because we're also hammering, don't forget, we're hammering the one at Wolf Test 1. I can't show you that because obviously it's running stuff, but we are hammering it. So we're hammering all three databases and really, really making life very difficult for it. So we'll let that go for a while. So yeah, if you want to have a look at more of our products, we've got other things like Intelligent Wolf Code, Wolf COBOL, Wolf Proxy, Wolf Serve, which is a replacement. So Wolf Proxy is a load balancing piece of software, drop-in replacement for Nginx, so you can set up Nginx with certbot and everything, turn Nginx off and turn on Wolf Proxy and it will work. Same sort of thing for Wolf Serve. It's a drop-in replacement for Apache 2, and it's much faster. Apache 2's response time is about 100 milliseconds, ours is about 10. This is an internal project to do facial recognition. We're using Galera cluster with vector databases to do that. And then WolfScale, which is the one we're talking about today. And you just go through and go down and click on it. Now, it's open source, so you can use it with your projects. But again, right now, at the moment, we've got a few little buggies to sort out, but they're nothing to do with the actual replication. It's actually just to do with the wolfctl command, which is a bit... but, you know, obviously, if you're going to try it, please do test it. Don't forget, of course, with this, there's some other advantages. You can, if you want to do if you've got, say, 3 nodes in a cluster and you want to upgrade the whole cluster, you could actually just add another node with the new version of the database. Okay, there's a command, wolfctl initialize or something. There's a command. Let me go look it up. Okay, just go wolfctl help migrate, wolfctl migrate, because we don't store all the data in the queues. We only store, like, I think it's 7 days or something like that. But using wolfctl migrate means you can actually migrate the database from another node to your new node. Check config, log levels, stats, all that sort of happy information. You can manually promote or demote nodes to a leader. There is only one leader, and in fact, we run our Galera clusters like that. We actually only ever write to one node. We just discovered that writing across all 3 nodes, especially with the game where we need the latency, was a bit of a problem. Yeah. So yes, there it is. Yeah, so if you want to try it out, it's on our GitHub. It's just a 1-line command. So what you do is you set up, just follow the documentation. If you go down to the bottom here, documentation, please have a read of this. And it explains WolfScale. It explains the deployment architecture. I'm just going to quickly scroll through it. Okay, but remember, it sits on top of MariaDB. So this is really important. You need to do all your writes and reads from the WolfScale, not through directly to the MariaDB, but through the proxy. Okay, otherwise what will happen is that WolfScale won't see what you've written to MariaDB behind it. So basically the setup is to have a MariaDB database, and on the same server you install WolfScale, and then you read and write from WolfScale to do the management of the cluster. We will be doing bin log reading eventually, probably in the next few days. I'll probably implement that, so you don't actually need to write through the proxy, but for now it's just because we like monitoring things. So I'm still restoring that backup, I think. So let's have a look. Let's see if it's still going. Yeah, it's still restoring the backup. But of course I can go look at it. Let's go and look at it on here. Show tables. There's all the tables it's loading. Yeah, I know why. Some of those are quite big tables. There you go. And remember, this is actually being hammered right now. It's being hammered as we plow data into it. And this is a slave node. So the master node was Wolf Test 1. This is Wolf Test 2. This is a slave node. So yeah, that works really well. Anyway, so hopefully that's of interest to some people. We have got a Discord. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. So if you go to the WolfScale page, if you go to our Discord, go to our thingy, there's a Discord here somewhere. Join our community there. Just join the community, and it's really for people who are using it, want to talk about it. We do have a Patreon because obviously it's open source, so if you want to support us, we'd really appreciate it. We are looking at doing some really interesting customizations, like implementing ODBC, so you could technically connect it to one of your nodes. Might not be mariadb, it might be something else. So particularly useful for live migration, where you are migrating from I don't know, Postgres or something to MariaDB. You can actually set out Postgres as one node and then carry on reading and writing to that one node. But also over in the corner over there, your MariaDB database is collecting data. That's the idea. We've not implemented that, but that'll be really interesting. Yeah, it's good for doing upgrades. It's good for doing anything where you want the speed as well, like if you're running games and things like that, because it is Rust. It's really lightweight. So yeah, if you're interested and you'd like to talk to us, just go to wolf.uk.com. We tend to specialise in dealing with very complex and difficult application development and migrating people away from issues like technical debt. So what we mean by that is that the easiest way to illustrate it, we know a company that is paying a fine every year because their systems are not compliant, but it's cheaper to pay the fine than to try and hire programmers to rebuild their system. Well, we actually kind of specialise in doing all that. Please get in touch, sales@wolf.uk.com, or you can join the Discord, or you can, I think that's about it. That's about all I've got to say. But Wolf Scale is a very interesting project. It's quite a new project, and I'm sure we'll discover some gotchas as we're running with it, but it does work pretty well. I've got a 3-node cluster. We're going to get a 5-node cluster up to probably tomorrow, just to see how it performs. But so far, it's doing pretty well in terms of dealing with everything that's going on. Oh, it looks like it's finished. Yeah, it looks like the load's finished. Okay, cool. Control C to exit. So that's Wolf Software Systems. Thank you very much. And a big thanks to MariaDB for being fabulous. And IBM as well.